I'm really, really glad that you're here. And I want to talk about fasting today because it is so, so good for our immune system. And I know that there's a lot of people that have struggled with this, that they either haven't tried it, they don't know much about it. And I thought if we did it as a group, that would be awesome because then we can kind of work together, we can share information and help each other along. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. Arcana, Bonnie, so great to see you guys here. Honestly, I'm so happy that you're here. So yeah, I've got today, and we'll talk about that when I go down my little list of things. Um, the day before I do a fast, and when I say a fast, I'm talking about more than just like a little intermittent fast that's just skip a breakfast or skip a lunch or something like that. I'm talking like a longer fast. I really like to have a lot of fat the day before. So what I do is I increase my fat quite a bit. Well, I mean, not quite a bit, but like more than I normally would. And I make sure I keep my carbs really low. And the reason why I find this to be very, very helpful is because literally it becomes effortless as far as the fasting part, hunger and all that. I don't feel anything. But if I go too high on carbs, because I've done that before, where I've gone too high on carbs, and then I've gone right into fasting. And I know lots of people do that. I was like, so hungry. It was a lot more difficult. So I've kind of developed this little system for myself and it works so great. That's how come like on Sunday, I usually have like a free day. Well, not a free day, but like more like lazy keto day. I'm not really fasting. I'm not tracking. I'm not, I'm just kind of doing whatever I want. We usually have family dinners, whatever. So that's on Sunday. And so typically it could be higher in carbs. So then on Monday is when I really, really lower my carbs and I really up my fat so that I'm ready for Tuesday. So lately I have been fasting Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But we're going to talk about that in here because I want to tell you guys a reason why I don't think it's a great idea at this point in time to do longer fasts more than 48 hours. So that's something we're definitely going to talk about in here. So just going to say hi to a few more people. Michelle, Janelle, Jamie, Lori. That's my sister, Lori. Aw, so good to see you this morning, Lori. Anyway, so yeah, so I'll start talking about that first. The reason why I decided to change my mind on that was because I'm seeing a lot of information about the fact that if you do like over 48 hours, it can temporarily lower your cortisol levels. And I'm saying this in an overabundance of caution, okay? It can temporarily lower it, which means it temporarily could lower your immune system. And I'm talking longer fast. I'm talking 3 days more, right? And I'm saying an overabundance of caution. Like, honestly, I've heard a couple of keto doctors talk about it only, not a lot, but I just think to err on the side of caution. So if you guys are interested in what I'm talking about right here, if you go to Unit 6, I had posted the other day about this one particular doctor that did a nice little video explaining what I'm just talking about, and again, overabundance of caution. So because of that, I was originally going to make this a longer fasting week, but I'm only going to do it up to 48 hours. So you can do it anywhere from just skipping breakfast, good enough, or all the way to 48 hours, and it's going to start tomorrow. So that's my reasoning for changing it. I just think with everything going on, we just need to do our utmost to keep our immune system strong and healthy. And that is one of the other reasons why I really wanted to do this fasting this week, is because it is really quite incredible for your immune system. There's lots of literature on it. You can go in Unit 6. There's a lot of videos that I've posted over the last year, particularly on that subject. So you can definitely look back on that. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Tanya. Okay, so As I said, kind of elephant in the room, I kind of got that out. I know it's been a really challenging time for all of us. We're all feeling it. And I think the biggest thing like that I found, and I'm sure you guys find too, is that, you feel out of control. Your world is not your own. Things have changed. And what I keep saying to myself is, what do I have control over? What are things that I can do? Are there things that I'm doing already that are great that I'll continue on doing? Are there things that I'm doing that are maybe not good for my health right now or my emotional well-being? Are there things that I need to let go because they don't serve me well right now? I will say, like, I've had a few posts in the group, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tag them as a topic so that you guys can, and I'll tell you what the topic is when I figure it out, but then that way everything on that topic will be there. But just about things that we can do to really boost our immune system. And one of the biggest things, of course, is eating keto. That we're doing the right thing. It is the best thing that you can do. And the other thing is staying away from high carbs, especially anything in the sugar and the grains. Now more than ever, we really need to keep our insulin levels low. It's so much better for our immune system. As soon as we have anything that converts into sugar, right away, it's lowering our immune system. And I'm really sorry to tell you that, but that is the God's honest truth. Like, I know it's really tempting with everything going on to kind of like go off and stuff. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to. It may happen, but I've been trying my absolute best to stay away from anything like that. I've been really trying to keep my carbs low, and I've been really trying to toe the line. And to be honest with you, I think it's really helped me emotionally. I do suffer from anxiety, but especially if I have grains and anything that's, really raises my insulin levels will also affect it. But grains are definitely a trigger for me anxiety wise. And I know a lot of other people feel the same way. We've talked about this in the group. So at the very least, even if you're not really towing the line right now, if I could just really beg you to please try to stay away from sugar and grains at the very least. If you go up on your carbs or whatever, that's not nearly as bad, because staying low in our insulin is really going to help us. So with that said, I want to go down my list of why fasting is so great. Teresa, good morning. Linda, good morning. As I was saying, I'm having in my beautiful cup that I just love, I'm having a fatty coffee. And I will probably have 2 or 3 of them today because I'm trying to raise my fat levels up. And we'll talk about this as we go down the list. I've got my little notes here. But first of all, I wanted to talk about fasting benefits. Okay, so for those of you that you don't know, I'm going to go down the list here of the most common, the most important, I guess. Our insulin levels drop. We really need that right now. It reduces leptin levels, and leptin is our hunger hormone. So that really suppresses the leptin hormones, which is a really good thing. It reduces insulin resistance, something a lot of us have suffered with. So it lowers that. It boosts our metabolism. It increases fat loss. It removes cellular garbage. Again, totally awesome for the immune system. It's getting rid of all that crud that we don't need. It protects against neurodegenerative diseases, so brain, anything to do with the brain. Studies show that it increases lifespan, which is really awesome. Reduces blood pressure, reduces the risk of heart disease, and it boosts the immune system. And again, like I was saying before, and before I go any further, just a friendly reminder that I am not a doctor or a health, there's a little fluffy thing here, or a health practitioner or a dietitian, right? I'm just someone who's super passionate about natural health, and I'm just sharing information that I have learned, but please do your own research and talk to your doctor. So in the last one, boost immune system, in the past, I have had absolutely no problems with I've built myself up to a 5-day fast. Generally speaking, once a month, I would do like a 3 or 4 day fast, maybe every 6 months, doing a 5-day fast, that kind of a thing. I was really getting into that. But like I was saying at the beginning, in an overabundance of caution, just to be extra careful, there is some evidence that cortisol levels can be lowered, which means our immune systems could be lowered when we go over 48 hours. And again, it's just, just the tiny little bit of could it, it's not really a big thing that I've seen out there. I've just heard it a few times. And like I said, this one doctor that did talk about it in a video, and I posted it in Unit 6, it's probably up at the top. He explains it very well. And so, like him, I suggest just being overly cautious at this time because we want to keep our immune systems as strong as possible. So fasting up to 48 hours, no problem, and it does huge benefits for our immune system. But after 48 hours, I just think right now it's better to not. So for those of you that do longer fast, just keep that in consideration. Listen to the video and you decide for yourself what you think. But for the for what we're doing this week, we're going to start tomorrow as a group, and we're going to go up to 48 hours. Okay, so for anybody who wants to join in, and you can start from nothing, and just skip a meal, and you can go right up to 40 hours. I will be doing 48 hours. So for anybody that would like to join me, that's what I will be doing. Okay. So what else? Okay, so today is prep day, day 0. Today is a really great day to take your weight and your measurements if you're into that. I actually didn't even take my weight or measurements. I don't really care this time, but if you guys are into seeing, the changes or whatever, especially if you're new to this, definitely do that. Write that down. As I was saying before, eating higher fat and lower carbs today, I have found that has really, really helped me. I've tested with different things, and every time I do it, it really makes me feel better going into my fast. So like today, like right now, I'm having my fatty coffee. I'll probably have 2 more today. Salad, avocado, oils, really trying to get my fat in there. Of course, I'll have my protein as usual. And I'm purposely trying to go lower in carbs. In fact, I'm really not having any carbs other than what's going to be in my veggies. That's all I'm doing today because I just find it really helps me when I go into my fast. It truly has made it effortless. Like, I'm not kidding. When I do this, it's just like a day. It's just like a normal day. So it really doesn't even bother me. Have a little sip here. Okay. Today, if you haven't been, and I have to admit, I've been a little negligent myself, get your water in. Drink, drink, drink. Get your water in. Which we should always be doing anyways, but definitely get your water in. If you've been negligent on your electrolytes, definitely get that in. If you have my keto BHB already, then great. That's an awesome electrolyte. Add some potassium citrate to it, or add some cream of tartar to it, which is really high in potassium, and you make it a perfect electrolyte drink. If you don't have that, then have whatever electrolytes that you have, or you can, kind of make up your own. We have that in the group. There's all kinds of information in the group, but I can post it here too with my little Actually, I think I did on today's post, actually, for the fast. I have the little infographic that shows the electrolytes. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's there, of things that you can eat and drink to do it yourself. So make sure you get that in there. What else? Okay. Some people are really into these fasting apps. A few that I know of: Body Fast, Do Fasting, and Life Fasting. But if you go on your app on your phone, you can just, search fasting app. There's all kinds. I personally don't use it because I just stop when I want to stop and I go when I want to go. And sometimes it changes, right? Sometimes I start my fast with full intentions of going however long, and then sometimes I just decide that I want to stop for whatever personal reasons, or I'm not feeling it, whatever. So I don't really use the app. I don't really need an app to tell me, like, what I need to do or whatever. But like, some people really, really like it, and they want to see how many hours they do and whatever. And I think there might be there's some fasting community or something that it shows you how many people are fasting. So anyways, if you're into that, look on your app store or whatever, and see if you can find one that suits you. Okay, I wanted to also mention people who should not fast. I do want to mention this because anyone that has had an eating disorder or is currently suffering from anything like that, it's a good idea to really be mindful of this because it could trigger something. It's something that you need to think about, maybe discuss it with your doctor. Not eating food could be a trigger. So please just keep that in mind. Also, if you're diabetic and also new to keto, well, actually, let's do it this way: diabetic and new to keto, or new to keto. Okay, so either one. It's really great, especially for diabetics, if you've been doing keto for quite a long time, and also discussing this with your doctor is always a really good idea. But I know a lot of people in the group that are diabetic, they've done very well with fasting, but common thread, they always did keto for quite a while first, felt really comfortable with their blood sugars, and then they started getting into fasting. There's some great people in the group that can give you advice on that if you want to even post in the group or post in here, and I'm sure that they will comment because they are diabetic or were diabetic. So they could definitely comment on that. And also, if you are brand new to keto, I don't really recommend it. I mean, yes, you could totally do it, but I just think it's going to be more of a struggle for you. I think the most important thing is to get the foundation of keto down first, really know what you're doing, really do that for 4 to 6 weeks, then start getting into fasting. But it's totally up to you if you want to try it. I just find that it works a lot better if you've been keto for a while. Okay, so we talked about electrolytes, water. Yes. Okay, so when we're fasting. Okay, so what are we doing when we're fasting? Well, basically, we're not eating. We're not eating food. That's basically what we're doing. And the best way to start off, honestly, if you've never done it, is just to start off by skipping meals. If you're used to having 3 meals a day, then skip breakfast and have your lunch and dinner. And then once you start getting used to that, then skip your lunch, so on and so on. This is something that you can do every day. You can do, you can mix it up. Myself personally, just because my age, I had a thyroid issue, I've now overcome it, but I just find doing anything for long periods of time does not work for me. I find for me mixing things up, and I talk about that in, oh my gosh, I mixed up all the units, and I'm very sorry, but I had to add some things, but I'm pretty sure unit 3 is Keto Your Way, and I talk about all the different ways that I mix up my keto, and I found I have been much more successful when I have tried mixing it up. So for example, I would never every day have 1 meal a day. Let's, for example, I wouldn't do a 1 meal a day every single day as my normal protocol. So I'm always kind of mixing it up. Maybe one day I'm having 1 meal, maybe the next day I'm having 2, then maybe I'm doing a 48-hour fast, then maybe I'm having 3 meals a day and I'm really having higher calories, still keto, but higher calories. So you get the gist. I really try to mix it up, and you guys have to do what's right for you. I've just found for my metabolism, for my lifestyle, and just for my happiness, to be honest with you, I really, really enjoy that way of doing it. I'm constantly mixing it up. That said, I've really, really started embracing fasting, and I do incorporate it into every week. Unless there's something really specific going on, I have been incorporating, like I said, it was a 3-day fast, but now I've gone down to 2 days, which is totally fine. So a 48-hour fast. So what my day would look like, or my week would look like this week is, like I said, Sunday was kind of like a lazy keto day. Today I'm going higher in fat and lower in carbs, prepping for my 2-day fast. Tuesday, Wednesday will be my fasting days. And then I will gradually get back into it again. And then probably the next day, Thursday, it is usually just kind of intuitively how I feel. I do eat more, but it's still probably less than normal. And then by Friday, I'm starting to get back into it again. I'll probably have 2 meals and have higher calories and things like that. And so that's just kind of I found that my week has been kind of going like that for a while. I've been really enjoying it. So anyways, back to you guys. So if you're just starting, right, like I said, skip a meal, skip the next meal, just do whatever feels good. One thing I really want to talk about is, and this comes up a lot in the group, is does MCT oil break a fast? And in fact, you could even say, does even keto BHB, beta hydroxybutyrate, does that even break a fast? The answer to both, in my opinion, and by many other keto doctors, is no. I know for the longest time they would say anything with a calorie breaks a fast, but they've actually really changed their tune on that. And I have it in the group actually in Unit 6, in the fasting unit. I actually have some videos from great keto doctors, but I'll just name a few. Dr. Fung, Dr. Berg, Dr. Perlmutter, I love, and Dr. Davis. Those are just a few that have said in more recent times that MCT oil and beta hydroxybutyrate does not break a fast, and in fact can be very, very helpful. Amy Berger, when I was talking about her book on Alzheimer's, she specifically was talking about those two products and how beneficial it is for our brains and that it does not break a fast. So I just want to mention that for you guys. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot do fasting with 0 calories. You absolutely can. And many people like doing it that way. They'll have their black coffee, they'll have their water, they will get in some of the electrolytes, tea, whatever. That's totally fine if that's how you want to do it. But I just wanted to mention that if you do want to have MCT oil and definitely the electrolytes and powder, and or some people do capsules, MCT oil, it works so good. So I'll tell you kind of how I do it, because I do use MCT oil when I'm fasting, and I have for quite some time. It really it helps with the hunger, first of all, but it really gives you a lot of energy. And because of these different topics that I've been talking about brain health and Alzheimer's and dementia, and there's just so many amazing health benefits to MCT oil, especially a really good high in C8, good MCT oil is just so good for us. I just can't not have it in my day, and especially now that the keto doctors are really advocating that it does not break a fast, and it's so good for us. So I have it in my day. So, during my fasting time, typically there's a couple of different ways I'll do it. If I wake up, I really like to listen to my body. So if I am really feeling like I really need fat, like I'm just needing it, I feel it, I will have, say, for example, a scoop of powder in my coffee, in my morning coffee. And I still have my water, my electrolytes, whatever. And then sometime in the afternoon, my favorite way to have fatty coffee, which is the way I'm having it right now, which I typically have like every day, is where I do a scoop of this and a tablespoon of this. That's my favorite. And I will have that in the afternoon for a little extra fat. Another thing I just wanted to mention as well is stevia or anything like that, like monk fruit or whatever. Personal choice, again, totally a personal choice, but I have done tests on myself, and I did a test and I put it in unit 6 so that you guys could see what I did, because I tested my blood glucose and I tested my ketones, and I find for me that it does raise my insulin and it does lower my ketones for me. Anyone. Everybody is different. I'm not saying that that's going to happen to you. So what I'm saying is anytime that I'm eating, anytime I am having, say, a fatty coffee, and whether it's like a true fast that I'm doing or it's just part of my normal day, I don't eat breakfast typically. Anyways, if I'm not having any food, any actual food, I have for a while now, I do not have any stevia, monk fruit, anything like that. I literally just have my MCT and my coffee, and that's all I have. But when I go to have another coffee, if I happen to be eating around that time anyways, there's for sure going to be somewhat of an insulin response, right? That's going to happen naturally no matter what. So at that time, I do enjoy having my stevia in my coffee. So at that time, I will put stevia in my fatty coffee. So that's just kind of what I've been doing. Honestly, you guys need to do what's right for you. If you're enjoying it in your coffee and everything is working great for you, maybe you've tested yourself or whatever, then you do you. Okay, I'm just mentioning it just in case this is something, or maybe you guys have noticed slowing down with weight loss, and you always put stevia, monk fruit, whatever in your fatty coffee, and you're not eating anything and you're kind of noticing things slow down. That could be a consideration. So I just wanted to mention that for you guys. Let's see if there's anything else. And then I'm going to go back and see if there's anybody that asked me anything or whatever, and I'll go back and read. I wanted to talk about, even though we haven't even started it yet, but I just want to talk a little bit about how you break a fast, because I know some people like to get the information right at the very beginning. So I'm just going to read here. Okay. So kind of like what we do when we do our bone broth cleanse, for those of you who have done that before, I have a drink that I call break my fast drink. It's in the bone broth unit 5, but I also have it in tomorrow's post, I think. But I can also pop it in today if you guys are interested. So I don't think I put it in today. But anyways, basically, there's 2 ways that you can do it. And again, you just do you. But there's a lot of people that will just jump right into eating. Like I know some people will jump right into having like bacon and eggs and whatever. And that is totally fine if that works for you. I find for myself, I've got a little bit of a gentle digestion or delicate digestion at times. And I have always found that breaking any fast or bone broth cleanse, whatever, with fat is the best way. So I always have fat. Okay, so that's usually going to be a fatty coffee or a tea or something like that. I usually have that. But what it could look like for you is it could be just maybe you want to have a salad with avocado and some oil on it or something like that. But there's the break the fast drink is a great one to have as sort of your first thing before you transition into food, I guess is what I would say. So I'll have that posted in here so that you guys can see the recipe. It's great. So many people said that they've actually incorporated that into their day because it's actually a really great drink. Super easy to make. It's actually pretty palatable too. It's not too bad. So that's usually what I do. And then I really love, and I've been talking about this a lot in the group, I love sauerkraut and I love kimchi. And they are both so amazing for your digestion, and it's again a great segue to get into eating regular food. Now, like I was posting a couple of times, I will mention here when we're talking about boosting our immune systems, both of them are great because they're helping your gut, and if your gut is healthy, that definitely helps your immune system. But I heard somebody talking, one of the keto doctors talking about the difference between sauerkraut and kimchi. Now, I usually have both, but sauerkraut is really good for fending off bacterial problems, and then kimchi is really great for viral. And so that's really interesting. So of course what we're dealing with now is viral. Again, I eat both, but I've been really upping my kimchi because why not, right? So if it really helps with preventing viral infections, if you have it, whatever. So I've been eating a lot of kimchi, but as a typical protocol, I always have it anyway, and definitely when I'm breaking a fast. That is sort of like I have the fatty break your fast drink, and then I have the kimchi, and then I work my way into just regular food, but very gently. But again, you guys do what works for you. I personally couldn't just jump right into steak and eggs or anything like that because I'd be like, it's too much for me. So I find this gradual back in works really, really good. And the other thing I will say that I always say when you're breaking a cleanse or a fast, keep your carbs low to no. And I really like to emphasize that because our insulin is a little more sensitive after we've been doing things like this, which is a good thing. But if you pile on some carbs, and when I say pile on, I'm talking even just like chaffles, nut flour, things like that. I've got this coconut bread that I get locally that I really, really like. But even that, it's low in net carbs, but it's high in total carbs. And I found that even derailed me. So what can happen is you can get some rebound weight. We don't want to get rebound weight. So kind of like how I'm saying, increasing the fat and lowering the carbs before getting into fasting, then you do your fasting, and then you're almost kind of like going back out the same way before you're getting into kind of eating more carbs again. I found that has worked really, really well for me, and I know other people have said that it worked really good for them too. So I want to pass on that kind of stuff just to help you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and read. See if I can read it. I can read it. So I'm saying good morning to everybody. I'm just going to see if there's anything. Tanya says, coffee time, my favorite. It is. Coffee time is my favorite time no matter what. And like right now it's actually cold because, but I came down and it was hot, but I'm okay with it cold. Tastes really good cold. No problem whatsoever. It's sort of like room temp iced coffee, I guess. I could throw ice cubes in it. Elizabeth says, good morning everyone from Montrose, California. Hunkering down in California, I know that. Let's see, just started listening in. Great. Sandra asks, what about hormones? Okay, Does fasting help with hormone balancing? If that's what your question is, yes, it does. It really does for all the other reasons that I talked about, but it really does help with hormone balance. That is definitely one too. Good morning from Montana. Sherry says, awesome, welcome. Jamie says, I've noticed most people take lots of measurements. What exact measurement should I take this AM? If you could list what spots here and there. Well, you know what, Jamie? I'm hoping that other people will also pop in here because I'm probably not the best person. Like, I can tell you in general terms, but like for me, I have kind of like three areas of my body. We all have areas of our body that are kind of like bother you, or or just the ones that you would like to see improvements on. Okay, so for me, my upper arms, that's one that I always test, and my tummy and hip area is also another one, and the tops of my thighs. Those are really truly the only ones that I measure because like I don't overly care too much, but those are just the ones that I mostly care about. It's like, come on, get down already. I just want to see, I like to see it going down on those areas. But what a lot of people do is like you could go here, right? And you could go your upper arm and you can do your chest. Some people do their necks, their upper, like above their waist, up in that area there, and then their main hip area, tops of the thighs, the calves. So I mean, really, it's kind of like whatever you want. Maybe people could pop in where they do it. I just typically go for the highlights. That's all I really care about for myself. But anyways, yeah, Jamie says that she uses the app called Life, and it's super simple. So there you go. That one sounds really good. And Julia says, test during if you're diabetic. Okay, so Julia is a really great resource for that also. So if you have anything about diabetics questions, maybe you could ask Julie about it. I know Amy in the group is also very good. So is Sonia. There's some really great people in here that have really figured it out. So if you're diabetic and you're kind of wondering, definitely post in here and somebody will help you for sure. So it sounds like testing is really, really important. That for sure is. Absolutely. Paula asks, do you make your own kimchi? Actually, you know what, Paula, I haven't. I have a friend that makes her own kimchi. I have not ever made it. I found this one brand. It's local and it's raw and it's fermented, obviously, because they're all fermented, but like unpasteurized. And I just love it because there's different kinds of kimchi. So I should talk about that too. So like Lisa in the group, we talk about this all the time. She loves things that are hot and spicy. And I don't really care for that so much. And some kimchi has big chunky pieces and it's quite spicy and stuff. And there's one at Costco. I know that there's one at Costco. I gotta be honest with you, I didn't like it. I tried it and I just could not get through it. Now someone like Lisa would love it. Now I found this one, I just love it. And it's, like I said, it's local, so I won't even talk about it, but they, all the cabbage is really, really fine. There's some carrot in there and it's really, really fine. And it's really just, I think it's onion, carrot, and cabbage, I think is all it is. And then of course the vinegar and stuff. And it's super, super fine and the flavor is so good and it's not spicy. So I just love it so much. I don't know that I could do it justice if I tried it myself, but it's something I'm interested in. I think it would be cool to try it. I don't know financially, like if it would be cheaper. I honestly don't probably think so because I think the one I buy is actually a pretty good deal. Beth said, oh, finally made it. Yay, Beth. Good morning. I'm glad that you're here. Good morning, Nir. He's from across the globe in Israel. Very far away. Okay, so great. I don't see any other questions. So yeah, you guys, so I would love to know who is actually starting today, if you guys are joining in, and especially if anyone is going to be attempting the 48 hours. I'm doing it for sure. So just curious if anybody else is, but you guys do whatever works for you. But yeah, this is something that we can control. We can control what we eat. We can control boosting our immune system. This is something that's super, super important right now. We need to do these things mentally and physically. It's really, really important. So we're still going to keep talking about this in the group. So you guys, I'm so glad that you were here this morning, and we'll talk about this more today. I'll keep on checking this, and I'll pop in the things that I said I was going to pop in. And yeah, so you guys have a really great day. Do what you can to keep your not eating sugar, not eating grains, sticking to keto, boosting your immune system, washing your hands, and staying healthy. Okay, you guys take care, and I will talk to you in the group today. Okay, bye. Hey guys, before you go, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified every time we have a new video posted. Also, down in the description, I will have links to everything that we talked about in our chat today, including information on how you can join my Intentionally Bare Keto support group. See you next time.